It is Amanda Delaney, and we are here with the beautiful Marie. So is it Marie? Is it Mary or Marie?
It's Mary. And do you know how you'll remember it? Mary, will you marry me? No, you'll never forget that.
I love it. I love it. We're here today, and I'm super excited. This is the last show in this season one, and we've talked about podcasting, we've talked about groups, we've talked about ideal clients, and loads of other things within the series. But we've not talked about blogging yet, and I've been hearing some fantastic reviews about some of my clients who have worked with Mary recently. So I'm delighted to actually meet you in person. Well, it's as close to in person as we probably get for a while here on the show today. And thank you for joining me.
Well, thank you so much for having me.
So before we jump in, can you tell the audience a little bit about yourself, your background? How did you get into building websites and blogging? I'm going to mute myself so we won't have that echoing in. And if you're watching us, join in the comments as well, and I can pop your comments up here on the screen. If you have any questions for Mary, pop them up and we'll get around to those too.
So how did I get into websites? Well, so about 15 months ago, I think we all know what happened last March, and I'm a therapist. I was working very happily one-to-one with my clients in different centres, just like all the other therapists I know. And what happened, of course, was suddenly that support shut. So there was lots of clients who needed more help than they ever needed before, and they couldn't get it. So there was one person in particular, and she was so talented. She'd 3 masters. She's a specialist in bereavement. And it just was a crying shame that people weren't getting that support, because there was so much fear, as we all know, going on. So we joke that I kind of bullied her into getting a website. But it was kind of really nice bullying. It was, one of those things, I did it for your own good. So we just built, it was a very simple website. It was so that she had like a presence online. And then, she went from there. She started doing like workshops and things like that. She was able to do her one-to-one. She was able to even keep up the group work she had been doing with some very little people who really needed that support. So yeah, that's where it kind of came from.
Isn't it fantastic? Sometimes it takes something bigger than ourselves, or we were chatting earlier on and we were saying when it's for someone else and it can help other people, it's easier to step up to the mark and be all that you are for someone else. We were talking about the introvert, extrovert. People often see me as an extrovert. I'm kind of an extrovert introvert, if that makes sense. I actually prefer the bigger stages, bigger audience, and I'm not so good with smaller crowds, which is the opposite to most people, which is a bit nuts. But I love the fact. So this lady, so what happened after that? So you help this. I always say, speak to one, you speak to many. When you help one, I'm sure I know what's coming next, but I'm sure she told other people about how you'd helped her.
Absolutely. And even what happened for her, it just and this is what I always say to people who do the blogging, you have no idea where it goes. She ended up doing these workshops. She didn't have to commute anymore. She didn't have to hop in the car and be worried, is the traffic going to be bad? She ended up writing a piece for a very famous Irish newspaper just because she got that bit of confidence. And as I said, this person was amazingly qualified, but she was just working with her clients. She wasn't going around telling everybody about herself, But so it was lovely. It was so lovely to see that for her.
See her visibility. So then you start to build more websites. So tell us about your blogging. I'm very interested. I've watched you in the We Can and We Will group, and something that stood out to me was, and I said this to you earlier on, is your authenticness, your willingness to help, encourage, and support. And that's what I'm all about. And there was one thing you said that really struck a chord with me. It was I never thought of this until people kept asking me for it. You're a woman after my own heart. Listen to the audience and then find a way. If I have a way to help them, that's exactly how I'll show up. but it's very clear that you're so authentic, and the reviews and the things that people say, and I always say your word of mouth is what gets you the business. Everybody raves about how you over deliver, add so much value, and the results they're getting from blogging. So let's dive into blogging. I know it's been around for a long time. It's something that I put on the long finger. I tested it once or twice, technical stuff. Then it's like, oh, where do I write it and all this. So tell us about blogging.
Well, thank you so much, by the way. That was so lovely to hear. So I really, really appreciate that. So
I am just saying what I see and what I hear. That's it. You're doing the work, the amazing work with the people.
So I think like blogging for me, it was kind of a hobby thing that I did myself. And then what happened with that was a bit like the lady I was talking about, got a bit of confidence, started writing more. And then that led to me kind of writing courses and delivering courses. And for an introvert, that is quite an amazing thing. And then like I was doing workshops face to face for teachers, for therapists, and it just kind of all evolved. And then I decided one day, I don't know why, I was sitting on my couch and I decided to enter a competition and I won it. And then I started getting featured, and it was a bit like, but what was really good for me as an introvert was I was hiding behind the company. I was working for a company. So like my name wasn't the byline, but it was always works for the company. So that was how that felt safe for me. So I suppose then the other thing about me, I didn't have a computer until I was in first year in college, and I felt like throwing the thing out the window. So like, I really get it when people struggle with the tech like that, Amanda. And I really get can I really put myself out there and write? I really, really, really get that. So I think that's what I'm good at. And like, I'm good at giving the little nudge and saying, come on. So from a business point of view, like you can be, like we're all kind of the butcher, the baker, the candlestick maker when we're in, like if we're in a small business or it's just us. So like what I sometimes do, I pretend that the Mary who's writing the blog post or the social media post or whatever is my VA. It's not me. And she's just writing for the business Mary. And that makes it really easy. And yeah, like I think of who I'm writing for and what they need. So, and I know that's something you're really big on from being in your group and seeing what you do. And like there's a lovely example actually. So Flo and Andre, a lot of people would know them. And they have both written gorgeous pieces. But there's one piece that really stood out for me, and it was one Andre wrote. And so for anyone who doesn't know them, they're clinical hypnotherapists. They help people to release their excess weight, mainly women. And Andre was writing about her couch to 5K journey. But the piece that I loved was she wasn't saying like, oh, it's such a breeze, it's so easy. She was saying like, I can't bring the dog, he might wee. I didn't feel like getting out of bed, it was freezing. My runners got soaked. And I think someone who reads that piece, they're getting to hear who she is. If they're like me, they can absolutely identify with not feeling like getting out of bed. And I have a DOG who would be the exact same. So like, that's the thing about blogging. Like we can feel, I have nothing to say. Everybody's written about this already. But you have life experiences that no one else has had. Like I once wrote a piece, so embarrassing. I drove into the back of a Jaguar. Now it was really slowly. It was a vintage Jaguar. But you can imagine how I felt. So for that particular piece, like I wrote about the anxiety that came up and all the negative self-talk and all the strategies. But like that was, if I say it myself, it was a more interesting piece than if I'd said the signs and symptoms of anxiety. And I suppose that's what I'd be saying to people, like bring yourself into it. It doesn't have to be your whole life story, but bring yourself into what you write.
Oh, you're speaking right to me. Keep it real, storytelling. There's a story in there. We all have stories. All of us have stories. And what I'm getting from you is, and something that I'm very guilty of, it's the overthinking, trying to make something perfect. It's show your vulnerability, and then we say, me too, me too, me too. And I'm the same. I was listening to it and I was like, are we sisters? I couldn't even send an email a couple of years ago. I was downloading stuff going, where's it gone? So, I think because of that, we totally have empathy for people, and it gives us the patience and the desire to help people to overcome it. And I was just on the phone on a Zoom call with a client there, teaching her something that would be easy for me or you. And as I said, everything's easy when you know how. But finding teachers like yourself who are, understand the frustrations and don't go 90 miles a minute ahead of us, give us the time and the space to learn. So what results, is this blogging? Is it just because, I'm like the learner here. Is blogging, I know there's articles on LinkedIn, but blogging, is it just for your website, or for somebody who knows nothing about blogging? Where can we put them, and why would we use them in our business?
So, anything you write for a blog, you can, so they call it repurposing, and it's basically you can chop it up and stick it on your social media. It could be part of your email newsletter. It could be that you put a link to it. So you write a bit like, did you ever hear about the time, or did you ever struggle? You do your normal marketing for your Facebook or your Instagram. But what you can do then is put the link to your blog. And when you write something on Facebook, like it goes down the feed, you do a brilliant video, it goes down the feed. With your blog, you can capture all that and you can keep sharing it. So you can share a piece that you wrote now, and you can share it again in 6 months if it's still as valid. So like there would be tips like that in the course about how do I come up with stuff that's going to kind of work fairly okay throughout the year. And then we'll also do stuff that's kind of targeted, like depending on what business you're in. Like if you're a piano teacher and you have a summer camp coming up, then you kind of plant that seed as well. So that'll be one thing. And then like when you're blogging, so it's like I said, like maybe that blog you submit, you go, actually, I can write, people are reading this, I'm going to write this into an article. But like on your blog, so you've made a Facebook video, you can have the, like say if the video goes up in YouTube, you can have the YouTube embedded on your blog. So like who owns YouTube? So I think they quite like us to be sending people to YouTube, you know what I'm saying? And like the other thing, you can have audio now. So like when we think of a blog, we think of nearly like a book or a magazine article, and it's all text. It doesn't have to be. If you have your freebie that you want people to download, you can put that in your blog. You can have a link to your calendar. If this speaks to you, here's a link. I do this. I do one-to-ones, book a session. So it's letting people know what you do, who you are. So like, I just think, obviously, I think it's fantastic.
Tell you, somebody else here thinks it's fantastic. I'm not sure because they haven't given permission to put their name up on the thing. Learning so much here. Thank you, Mary. I will DM you.
Oh, please do.
There we go. We're talking about blogging and what Mary does and how she helps. And already, there we go. This is marketing, guys. Getting yourself out there, exposure. We talked about visibility. And I love the fact, I am so looking forward to doing the course. When is your next course starting? I think you've one starting very soon, have you?
Well, I have one. So what I'm doing at the moment is hybrid. So I have a course platform that my friends who are playing with me, because that's the way I look at it, like this is absolutely playing, it's fun. And I'm there to help them. I'm going to help them come up with the ideas. I have a spreadsheet specifically for the people who are on the course now, because I think we all need that bit of a hand. So that platform is being built in this round. So 6 weeks' time will be the next one. But I don't have a live call until Thursday. So if somebody was very nice to me, you never know, they might be able to come and play with us right now.
Fantastic. So if you are ready to dive in, and I'm big into teaching marketing, and I love repurposing stuff. And what was coming up for me there, and I never saw it like this before, it's like your classical black dress that you can take out anytime, any year, and then you have your seasonal stuff that you only take out at certain times. So comparing it to your wardrobe, but you have lots of content that you have out there. Love the fact that it's linking in your email to your YouTube, and you're bringing people in different directions to find more and more of you. Oh, I'm super excited. I cannot wait to do it. Mary O'Sullivan, thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an absolute pleasure. What a way to close season 1 of the Let's Talk Marketing. How can people get in touch with you? I'm going to pop that into the comments here. Do you have an email, or what's the best way for people to get in touch?
Yeah, so hello@themaryosullivan.com is the best way.
Hello at
themaryosullivan.com. So MARIE.
MARIE. Hello at Mary. There was something before that, was there?
The Mary O'Sullivan.
How do you spell that?
THE.
Oh, there. Yeah. Okay. I'm Tala there. So there, Mary O.
I have coachy parents, so that's what's going on there.
There, maryosullivan.com, is it?
Yeah.
Now, you can let me know if I have that right. You can change it if I haven't. Hello at maryosullivan.com.
Perfect.
Cool. Guys, I will pop it up in the description as well. It's been a pleasure. I so look forward to working with you very soon in the future. And learning all about blogging and get my blogs out there. Thank you so much. Your last thing I'll ask you is your top tip for business owners who want to get more visibility.
Just go for it. Flip it. Go for it. Doesn't matter.
Yeah. Done is better than perfect, guys. Get out there and show up. Thank you so much, and we will definitely chat again very, very soon. Take care. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you all again with the Let's Talk Marketing in a couple of months. Because we're going to take the summer off from this show and take a little breather. If you would like to be a guest on the show in September, please do get in touch with me, because I'm always looking for cool guests to talk about their marketing, their experience, their challenges, their wins, and all the good stuff. That's it for today. Take care, and I'll see you all soon.